Hello, my name is Kevin Murray and I am the author of Language of Leaders. I'm also the chairman of Bell Pottinger Group, the international public relations and communications company. And I've worked with leaders for decades now, leaders who have succeeded in meeting huge challenges and leaders who have failed. And in so doing, I became very intrigued by a simple idea. What was it that made the difference? Why did some succeed and others fail? And I found that some leaders are great at strategy, but unable really to persuade people to their cause. And those who do succeed have one common ingredient, and that is that they're brilliant at communicating and they're brilliant at inspiring other people. So I went out to speak to 60 leaders of huge companies based in the UK and globally, airlines, banks, retail companies, professional service firms, charities, and grilled these leaders on what did they know about leadership communication that made a difference. And the result of those interviews is now in this book, The Language of Leaders. So what's the book about? The book looks at what does it take to be inspiring. So how do we do that? How do we concentrate on delivering that inspiration that is so crucial to great leadership? What I found is that the traditional model of leadership is changing. HR leaders and CEOs hiring people into leadership positions are now looking for people who have those softer skills, the ability to motivate people and inspire people and make people feel great and able to achieve great things. And the problem is, where do people go to learn how to inspire people? There isn't a college for leadership communication. And what my book sets out to do is take the learning from 60 leaders who've been there and done that and put it into a form that is a lexicon for anybody who wants to lead or who is leading now. I found some amazingly consistent themes coming out of these 60 interviews. It didn't matter whether these people were in retail or leading charities or leading professional service firms or leading mining companies. They all were leading people, and because of that, the themes were amazingly similar and very consistent. And I identified 12 main themes that were the principles of great leadership communication. One of the things I found when I was interviewing these leaders was that when they came to tell me stories about things that had happened to them, things that they'd experienced, their faces changed. They became more animated and more excited. They were much more passionate about what they were talking about. And I heard dozens and dozens of stories about experiences that they've had, many of which are now in the book. But what it brought to mind was the idea that as a leader, we have to get better at telling stories. We have to relearn that ancient art of storytelling if we want to be more effective as leaders. Leaders have to be much more conscious of the inadvertent signals that they're sending. It can be anything from a scowl. It can be not looking at somebody when they're talking to you, or it can be a policy or an action that you take. All these signals are more powerful than the words you say, and leaders have to learn to be much more aware of these inadvertent but potentially very destructive signals, and to use them more positively to send powerful messages into the organization about what needs to be done. So, who is this book for? Really, it's for leaders. Leaders of big companies, leaders of small companies, leaders of divisions of companies or small local branches of companies, leaders of privately held companies or leaders of charities or leaders of professional service firms. Most importantly, I think it's for aspiring leaders, people who really want to become better at being effective leaders. My findings from this research show that there isn't a place to go to learn to be more effective and more inspiring as a communicator. This isn't about how to be a technically proficient communicator. This is about how to be an inspiring communicator. And it's that one word, how to be inspiring, that really makes a difference between mediocre leadership and great leadership.